On this edition of the Local Lap, we'll head to Iowa for 305 sprint car action, USAC non-wing sprints, and the 15th annual Front Row Challenge. Bill Holland will get us in the groove, plus much more. So stick around.
I'm Parker May, and I'm the driver of the number 3 Super Late Model, and your local lap starts now.
The Local Lap is brought to you by Tri-City National Banks. Large enough to serve you, small enough to know you. Visit any of the 44 bank branches serving Southeast Wisconsin and let them help you with all of your banking needs. Visit tcnb.com. And by QPS Employment Group. Whether you're looking for work or looking for talent, QPS is your staffing solution. Visit us at qpsemployment.com. Now, your host of the Local Lap, Jim Tretow.
Welcome to the Local Lap, where the racers and fans stay connected. We're joined by Bill Holland. And Bill, when we're at the racetrack, I've been getting some really good responses from racers and fans. What's it been like for you when you're at the track?
Well, it's been a lot of fun, and it's been very rewarding to hear a lot of positive comments from, as you mentioned, racers, fans. The racing community in general really seems to be getting behind the Local Lap, and that's great to hear and see.
And we want to showcase as many racing disciplines as possible in the Upper Midwest. What have you got for us in this show, Bill?
Couple of very special events. The Kim Parsons Memorial in central Wisconsin has drawn some real support over the last couple of years, but we're going to start things off on this week's In the Groove with a look at the very first George Scheffler Memorial from Manitowoc County Expo Speedway. Multi-time champion Russ Scheffler has done a lot behind the wheel of a race car. Tonight, he will race in memory of his late father.
It's kind of tough because I think about my dad more and more, and that's hard to deal with. You know, not a week goes by where I don't think about him. Kind of wish he was here racing with us. Tonight we got his ashes in his pace truck, and we're going to sprinkle a little bit of him out on the race surface. That was his wishes, you know, when he ever said when he wasn't going to die. That's what he wanted.
I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it because George was a cool guy, and he helped anybody out anytime he could, and it's really a bummer how he went down, but this is a good thing for him.
Back when I started racing, George had already been racing about 5 or 6 years, and in those days it was the seat of the pants race, so you didn't go buy a race car, you built your own race cars and stuff like that, and George was kind of a character. Back then, you did it as a hobby, you enjoyed it, you had fun. At the end of the night, you had a beer with a guy, even if he put you in the wall, and that was the type of guy George was. You had a lot of friends that way.
As George Scheffler's ashes are spread on the 3rd Mile Oval, the Manitowoc crowd stands and salutes his memory. The WDLMA late models will go for 39 laps, commemorating George Scheffler's 39-year racing career. Coming to green, it's the black 15 car of Rick Scheffler jumping out to the early lead. You know he wants this one badly. Shawano's Tom Nayert is on the move and takes the 2nd spot from former track champion Craig Scheffner in the 70 car. Up front, Ricky Scheffler is pulling away. What it would mean to him to win his father's race. Rick Scheffler and his brother Russ raced late models with their dad for years, up until George Scheffler's passing earlier this season. We are under caution, which makes this tangle between Bob Cullen in the 8 and Jamie Zydar's 9 car even more unusual. Back to green, and it's all Rick Scheffler, the 15 car coming to the checkered flag, winner of the first annual George Scheffler Memorial Race.
I mean, it's fortunately enough I started in the front, but I mean, I did it for my dad, you know, and it's winning the first one. I mean, it means a great deal to me. My dad taught me everything in racing and everything in life, you know. I miss him every day. I'm just glad to do it for him.
On Wednesday night, the Kim Parsons Memorial brings late models to Central Wisconsin Raceway for the first and only time this season.
We want to win every time we go out on the racetrack, and you know, being as though this is a benefit for Kim Parsons, it would really be special to us to be able to win this.
This is a classic battle of locals versus outsiders who have won dozens of track and series championships over the years. And you know these local late model drivers want to put on a show in front of a home crowd.
You look around, they've come from Shawano, Eau Claire, Marshfield, you know, yeah, that's a good deal. I mean, it's local cars at a track that we haven't ran on in like 3 or 4 years.
It's AJ Diemel. You know, he won here the last time the crate cars raced. Pete Parker, you know, he was one of my heroes when I was a little kid, so it's always fun to race against him. Eric Pember's here, Kerry Hansen, MJ McBride. It's going to be pretty tough. I mean, there's a lot of solid guys here.
It's a pair of second-generation Marshfield drivers up front as the field comes to green. Tim Eisenberg gets the jump in the 9 car, and he'll take the early lead. Chris Ortel is facing a challenge from A.J. Diemel in the 58 for the second spot. Diemel, the fast-track national points champion last year. And trouble, Doug Gloshy in the 1, Eric Pembers 90 in the 9 of Tom Nayert, all involved in this one. This race is under caution. Back to green, and here's one of the best battles on the racetrack. Kerry Hansen, the veteran from right up the road in Spencer, Wisconsin, battling the Hall of Famer Pete Parker in the 10 car for 4th place. Meanwhile, Ortel and Diemel are really going at it for second, with Ortel holding down the position. But Tim Eisenberg has the field covered tonight and takes the checkered flag, winning the Kim Parsons Memorial.
You know, it's super sweet. I mean, all the guys will be on a high. We'll be cruising down the highway tomorrow on our way to Kentucky for our next race. Just grinning ear to ear, you know, and fans and sponsors and family and everybody will be smiling. It's a big deal to even come win at home.
In a week of special memorial races, I'm Bill Holland in the groove on the local lap, where the racers and fans stay connected.
Thanks, Bill. The Knoxville Raceway in Knoxville, Iowa has been the mecca of sprint car racing for over 50 years. What's neat about it is they offer a number of racing series the chance to race on that big sweeping half mile. The 305 cubic inch sprint cars may not have the horsepower of a 410, but they certainly are as action-packed as always. Let's check out the highlights from Knoxville Raceway and the 305 sprint cars.
We head to the Knoxville Raceway in Knoxville, Iowa, home of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Knoxville Nationals. The week begins with the 305 sprint cars. Yes, I said 305 sprint cars.
As far as a sprint car, just a standard sprint car that they'll run in the 360s or the 410s. Motor-wise, it's maximum total of 316 cubic inches. It's an all-steel motor, steel head, 200cc runner. It's kind of an entry-level position of racing. It's something supposed to be a little more cost-effective for low-budget racers like me. If it wasn't for this class, there wouldn't be very many of us up here without the 305 deal. It's a very cost-effective form of sprint car racing. Gives everybody a level playing field. It's not all about horsepower. Because of the lack of horsepower, the car, you've got to keep it just on the verge of being free. You got to be able to maneuver around. Lack of horsepower, you don't want too much drag on the wing. You don't want to bind them down with too much stagger. So, yeah, free is good. You got to keep the car nice and free rolling around this track. Tires, we do have a spec tire. We run the same deals, the 360s here at Knoxville. All in all, it's a good bunch of guys, good quality equipment. And actually, to me, it's some of the best racing you'll see up here at Knoxville right now.
A-main action now, and it's Phillips from Pleasantville, Iowa in the 7 machine, while Snohomish, Miss Washington driver Travis Cram is in the 66. Green flag is out, and that is former NASCAR champion crew chief and team owner Ray Evernham in the red and white 19. He gets terribly loose up in turn 1, does a great job to save it, and right back in the gas and hard at it on the legendary Knoxville half mile. Back up front, outside pole sitter Phillips stretches his early race lead. Great action behind him, but we go yellow for problems under the hood of the 57. 8 laps in the books and back under green. We go with a single file restart, and it's still Phillips, followed by Cram. Great shots, and you can see these drivers are not letting up. Ray Evernham again in the 19, caught up in the middle of some fast 2-wide and sometimes 3-wide action. Evernham is a former East Coast racing standout before turning in his helmet for a wrench and NASCAR glory. He now owns a racetrack, but it has to be a thrill for him to get back behind the wheel in a highly competitive division like these 305 sprinters. Matthew Stelzer is in the 99, and Mike Van Haften campaigns the number 33. Along with Evernham, these drivers are running mid-pack, but you couldn't guess it by how hard they're driving these machines. Big wreck behind the leaders. The 5J is Jamie Bell, while Mitchell Alexander is in the number 6. That sets up a restart with 5 laps to go. Phillips continues to lead as the field slices and dices behind him. The 22-year-old Phillips, however, will not be topped. He'll rim ride and lead wire to wire, taking the double checkers as Travis Cram comes home in the runner-up spot. Mark Widmar finishes 10th, while Evernham comes home 11th. Knoxville Raceway in Knoxville, Iowa, and USAC non-wing sprinters were in action. Scotty Weir led the field down to the green flag for the 26-lap A-Main. Weir in that bright yellow machine would see his lead short-lived, quickly giving way to the number 99 of Brady Bacon. That's Bacon in the all-white machine. Bacon, too, would not stay up front long. It was the hard-charging Bud Kading taking over the top spot on lap 4. But in the end, they're all chasing Kading. The Campbell, California driver, a 3-time USAC Silver Crown champion, rolls to the win with Brady Bacon and Darren Clayton rounding out the top 3. Stay connected with where we're going next and more. Log on to www.thelocallap.com.
Still to come on this edition of The Local Lap, we've got some drag racing for you. And when we come back, we're going back sprint car racing at Southern Iowa Speedway. Stay tuned.
The Local Lap is brought to you by Plymouth Dirt Track, bringing you affordable family fun and entertainment. Racing starts 6 p.m. each and every Saturday evening. For upcoming events, visit our website at PlymouthDTR.com. Full Throttle Magazine, around Wisconsin's racing scene, giving it the coverage it deserves. Visit wapakanow.com. By Big Game Tree Stands. Until you've hunted out of a big game tree stand, it's hard to know the meaning of rock solid. To find a tree stand that fits your needs, visit our website at BigGameTreeStands.com.
Every Monday night at 6, join racers and fans for the Racing Roundup Show, a comprehensive motorsports radio program aired weekly on RacingRoundup.net and on Milwaukee's ESPN radio affiliate 540 ESPN. The show features local drivers and covers NASCAR and the world of motorsports. Tune in to the Racing Roundup Show.
The rear end was the weakest point, and the rear ends were breaking. The film strength that AMSOIL provides is what I needed. The AMSOIL rear end lubrication was keeping the metal apart. We accomplished big things with so little effort. Just changed the rear end lube to AMSOIL. Totally did it.
Welcome back to The Local Lap. Veteran sprint car racer Terry McCarl puts on his promoter's hat once a year in his home state of Iowa, and at Southern Iowa Speedway they pull out all the stops of NAC 2 promotions. Their motto is, we threw a party and a race broke out. Let's go to the on-track action with Dean Strom.
Southern Iowa Speedway in Oskaloosa, Iowa is home to the 15th annual Musco Lighting Front Row Challenge. This event is as much about the racing as it is about the festivities and party atmosphere that surrounds it. Drivers and teams line the streets and take part in a race day parade. And of course, if you have fast cars, you have to have girls.
Front Row Challenge girls!
To the on-track action we go, and this race offers a unique design. The top 8 qualifiers who advance to the A-Main race head-to-head in a knockout format. The winner has the option to start the A-Main from the rear of the field and pocket an extra 50 grand if he can win. all came down to Tyler Walker in the 17 and Joey Saldana and Casey Kane's number 9. They thrilled the huge crowd with this side-by-side sprint to the checkers. Saldana nips Walker at the line, and after some haggling, he agrees to take the front row challenge. So next, the A main. 4 wide pace lap, and this just never gets old. 2-time front row challenge winner Tyler Walker and defending FRC champion Sammy Swindell lead the field to the green, and they are at it hot and heavy. Check this out as the field fans out over the wide Southern Iowa Speedway surface. Walker will lead lap 1, but Swindell and the number 89 of David Gravel give chase. Walker, the 31-year-old from Los Angeles, now races for Keen Motorsports and competes primarily on the East Coast. Swindell drives the potent big game crease stand machine and has over 300 career wins to his credit. Remember, Joey Saldana started at the rear of the field and has an extra $50,000 coming his way if he can win. Just 2 laps into the 25-lapper, and watch, Saldana has already passed 9 cars. He's a man on a mission. The challenge he accepted has only been won once. That was Jack Howdenfield back in 1999. Caution is out. Exactly what Joey Saldana wanted to see. This will bunch things up. Walker and Swindell bring the field back to green. But on the restart, problems in front of Saldana. He pinches the car into a spin, and his chances of the extra 50 grand go out the window. From here on out, the attention will turn back to the battle between Walker and Swindell. The Southern Iowa night is hot and humid, and the vapor trails coming off the sides of these wings is very clear. Casey Kane Racing fans will have to put their effort behind third-running Paul McMahon, shown here in the number 91. The California driver is looking for just his second 2010 win. Once again, that's David Gravel in the 89. He qualified 6th and maintained a top 5 run all night long. Get a load of the infield. It was packed. The infield racegoers were there since the early morning hours. Walker had this race well in hand with 4 laps remaining when his left rear tire explodes on the back straightaway, handing the lead to Swindell. Sammy Swindell will cruise the rest of the way. For his second front row challenge win in a row, McMahon finishes 2nd with Gravel rounding out the podium. Southern Iowa Speedway in Oskaloosa, Iowa, and it's the AMSOIL USAC National Sprint Car Series taking center stage. Bud Kading is looking to make it 2 series wins in a row. And right at the drop of green, the show is on. The non-wing sprinters are sideways, on the gas, hiking the left front tire, and on the ragged edge. This is possibly the purest open-wheel division in America today. The division grew out of the original Champ cars, and there was a time when every Indy 500 winner cut his teeth in these cars. These drivers are true gladiators of the sport. Watch out, lap 15 and Kyle Larson hops the cushion and goes for a tumble in his 2 machine. Don't you just love it when the cameramen are facing the wrong way and miss all the action? Back to the green, and Kading has this one in hand. He'll glide to the checkered flag ahead of Brian Clausen and Levi Jones. Kading will take the oversized $15,000 Ultimate Challenge check and trophy back home to California.
We're now going to take you drag racing at the legendary Great Lakes Dragway, just north of the Illinois border in Union Grove, Wisconsin. Here again is Dean Strom.
The Great Lakes Dragway in Union Grove, Wisconsin has been a mainstay on the drag racing scene for over 5 decades. Roughly halfway between Milwaukee and Chicago, the quarter-mile strip always brings out the best straight-liners from around the upper Midwest. This hot August night, it's the Nitrous Street Brawl Series. Burnouts were plentiful as the drivers heat up the tires to match the hot track conditions as closely as possible. Heads-up action gets underway with Joe Criolla in his yellow 1966 Chevelle versus the 70 Camaro of Joe Stiles. Both drivers are from Illinois, and side by side they go down the strip in a 7-second run in cars that see street duty. The crew goes to work on Pat Spangenberg's 66 Impala. 2 nitrous systems help put in excess of 1,500 horsepower under the hood. Back to on-track action. Pete Lamas Jr. in the near lane in his Nova versus Dennis Hollis in the purple Chevelle. They have a great battle with both posting an 8.50 second run near 160 miles per hour. Here's Jason Schatt from Watertown, Wisconsin in his 1983 Hearst Old Street car. Jason will make the pass at 8.72 seconds, 159 miles per hour. As the skies darken over the Great Lakes Dragway, the action heats up. Pat Spangenberg from West Dallas in a 1966 Impala street car will run 161 miles per hour and nip Don Edelstein in his 68 Hemi Dart. Stay connected with where we're going next. Log on to www.thelocallap.com.
We're going to take a quick pit stop. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Local Lap, where the racers and fans stay connected. During the course of the season, we've had a chance to show you some interesting stories in the Local Lap Extra. But how about a motorsports program on radio that's been around for over a quarter century? I think you might know the host.
For 26 years and counting, one of America's longest-running motorsports radio shows airs weekly in Milwaukee. Every Monday night from April through September, the Racing Roundup show is held in front of a live audience at Paulie's Pub and Eatery at 81st and Greenfield in the shadows of the famed Milwaukee Mile. The show is hosted by Jim Tretow with correspondent Jeff Wesell covering the open wheel scene and Dave Hohensee keeping the audience up to speed on all things drag racing. Other guests and contributors provide the latest information and interviews from a broad cross-section of racing disciplines. Everything from NASCAR and IndyCar Series coverage to feature winners from the weekend short track action to interviewing 5-year-old kart racers. Guests on the show the night our Local Lap cameras took in the scene included the father and son team of Tim and Jason Cox. They both drive potent 850 horsepower winged sprint cars on pavement tracks throughout the Midwest.
I've seen you race on the dirt, and you've been on pavement now for quite a while, but it's got to be a wild ride no matter where you go on a pavement racetrack, mostly bull rings with a winged sprint car.
Yeah, they're pretty exhilarating. How fast they go. The acceleration on them is unbelievable, phenomenal. You just can't explain it. People go to the World of Outlaw races and they watch the dirt cars, and all of a sudden they come to a pavement race. It's like, oh my God, these things are really fast. You know, they're just unbelievable.
And the Saturday following the airing of this radio show at Ileana Motor Speedway, 16-year-old Jason Cox jumped into Tony Swanson's wing sprinter, the car his dad normally drives, set a new track record in qualifying, and scored a clean sweep. For 26 years, the Racing Roundup show has been a mainstay in the southeastern Wisconsin motorsports scene. For more information, visit the show's website, racingroundup.net.
Thanks for watching what is the final episode for us in 2010 for the Local Lap. And Bill, it's been a great ride.
It has been a very fast ride, and we've gotten such great support. We're not going to stop covering racing. Check out our website. We'll have information. We'll have race highlights for you. Our TV season may be done, but we're not done with racing in 2010.
Check out thelocallap.com for racing highlights and links to tracks near you. Thanks for watching the Local Lap, where the racers and fans stay connected.
Promotional consideration has been provided by Big Game Tree Stands, Scottfield Builders, and by Ray Graphics. Post-production facilities for the Local Lap are provided by Caveman Productions.